right, how's it going tonight? We are live with we got one NFL game, obviously Thursday night football, and we got one college game. I mean, it's not till 9:32, which kind of stinks. Usually these games are at 7:30, but tonight it's 9 o'clock. Sorry, it's Sam Houston against New Mexico State. You can see us live on X and Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. We're going to be joined here in a second by Matt Weatherby, and we also have some special guests here coming in just mere minutes. We're going to have let me just fix this real quickly. We're going to have QBIQ special guests, former pro quarterback and current QBIQ guru Chris Hickson with high school quarterback Christopher Kuzniak, and they're going to break down some of these games that you can see all over the place. We're going to try to talk about this game. My volume, man. Volume button. Gotta get a remote that works. Come on, man. Gotta tap the remote. Battery doesn't work. There we go. Anyway, so that's the game tonight, Sam Houston, New Mexico State. And then obviously the pro game. When the schedule came out, I think was going to be a bigger game. It's still a big game. Rams and San Francisco. Obviously the Rams big favorites tonight because San Francisco's got everybody hurt. So, hey, Matthew, what's up, Matthew? Just tell him we're gonna have in a matter of mere minutes, we'll have former pro quarterback and current QB IQ guru Chris Hickson will be coming in with quarterback Christopher Kuzniak, and they're gonna break down some of these games tonight. Are you excited for this game tonight, or are you just kind of like,
Rams 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 weeks ago, this is a big game. It's still a big game, but I think 2 weeks ago, I think when the 49ers are healthy, this is still, probably an interesting game. It's a division game, so I think it probably will still be pretty interesting. I think a lot of people expect the Rams to win this. Would that probably be your
Yeah, that would be my assessment that the Rams would probably win. But at the same token, I really thought that the Cowboys were going to get just absolutely wiped out by the Packers, and that didn't happen last weekend. So there's always a chance in the NFL. I feel like when your matchups are this close, but that's they have the firepower to get it done. I believe even if they start Mac Jones, getting Brock Purdy back in the swing of things just didn't really work out that well for him last week. And I know he was questionable. And if you're questionable at this point, just take it a rest and get healthy for the meat of your season, because you have seen that you have the talent to be competitive this year.
So, here, Chris is joining us now. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Welcome to Thursday Night Ticket. I'm Sean Miller, and this is Matthew Weatherby. How's it going?
That's good. Nice to meet you all.
You as well. Where are you located? I know you go to Westminster. Where is that?
That's in Atlanta, Buckhead area, Atlanta.
Okay, right there. Matt, you're down in Athens, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Chris, and then we got Chris coming in there. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Oh, look at all the jerseys in the background. I got all my soccer stuff, so
there you go.
Not football jerseys. How's it going, Chris? Welcome to the show tonight.
I appreciate it, man. It's going well. Just that it's like that middle of the season. This weekend alone, or this past week, I have seen around 750 plays and having to break down all this film. So it's and now it's a rinse and repeat. Now we're, as we're going to be doing tonight, going over our preparation, how we look at our opponent and know what we're facing. So It's going well. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Usually, so for the Thursday night show, basically what we do is, we talk there's clearly, the game tonight, the NFL game is bigger than the college game. The college game tonight is Sam Houston against New Mexico State. Pretty evenly matched game. And then, starting next week and the week after, I know, Chris, you probably have some aspirations to play at the next level. I mean, there's games, next week it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then in 2 weeks, the Tuesday games start. So we got college football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and NFL Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. So basically in 2 weeks, I think, Matt, we talked about it. I think, what is it, like 57 straight days or something like this of football on TV?
Yeah, it's some wild run that like runs you into right around, like, I think it's a week or two before Christmas. But it's literally every day. Like, if you really want a game to watch, you've got a game to watch.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, Chris, I'm sure you probably watch. I mean, there's high school games on now on TV as well. I mean, do you have time to watch any of these games, or are you kind of always breaking stuff down with and practicing and everything? Is it tough to kind of get time to watch games, or?
Sean, I seriously. Oh, you're talking.
Sorry,
sorry, Christopher. We'll say Christopher and Chris. Yeah. I know, Chris. I know you don't have time, but
I don't watch play.
How about do you have time to watch anything, or are you pretty busy?
Usually not during the week, but on Sundays I'll sit down and watch pro football usually.
Okay. I mean, we basically what we do is, we break these things down. Matthew, he goes through during the day. He's on during the day at noon, breaking stuff down as well. I mean, just, how do you guys, I know, Chris and Christopher, you guys want to kind of talk about, how you break this stuff down. I mean, if you're someone who's, wants to be an amateur at breaking, like I know you guys go through a lot of film. I mean, what's the process of breaking these games down?
So, and that's kind of what we're going to show you guys tonight. So how Thursdays run for me, most of my roster is high school. I got a couple college guys. So I'll do those guys usually either Friday morning or Friday at lunch. But so what happens is every 30 minutes. So right now with Christopher, I've got a 30-minute slot, and his Thursday night deal is to prove that he knows his opponent. So technically it's his presentation to me. Okay. And then basically if I have advice or whatever, and that's what we're going to kind of show you tonight, exactly what we do. If you kind of want to, I'll show you the packet. If I can I screen share here?
I believe that let me see. You might be able to.
Here, it looks like I can do it right here. Okay.
It should be at the bottom, right?
Yep, I see it. All right. So let me go ahead and share screen. Let's see here. Okay. Went through. Some weird questions.
What's it? What? Oh, you might need a clearance to do it. I don't know, man. What is it asking you?
Yeah, you guys, if you as the administrator may have to give me the actual ability to do that. Plus, what we're going to do is we're actually going to cover. Let's see, screen, boom. Wow, I got to do a lot of things here.
We'll talk while you're. We'll talk to Christopher while you're doing this. Christopher, this is your time here. I mean, who do you play this weekend? What are you trying to what are your looks and all this stuff? Like, what are you going to be talking to Coach Chris about today?
So we played Cambridge this weekend, and a lot of it is just kind of trying to find like what you run, what they run, and just seeing to kind of just get that, like, just so you can recognize it quicker. And he talks a lot about like the Tom Brady, like kind of like that half second where he knows what covers they're running, so he knows exactly where he's going the ball pre-snap, so he's just quicker, get it out quicker.
Yeah, I was looking at Max Preps. They have you guys. What do you play tomorrow night at 7:30? Is that right?
Yes.
So this is your first region matchup of the season. It's a big game, right?
Yes.
What do you I guess Chris is going to come back. And what are you looking for? You know, what specifically are you going to talk to Chris about tonight? Like, how do you actually go about doing that and breaking that down?
So he kind of has you fill out 2 major categories, and it's we'll fill out the defenses for like certain like situations, like down and distance, like 1st and 10, 2nd and long, second, like stuff like that, and then also versus like formations that you run. You try to like I kind of had a cut up of plays like of their defense running its formations that we also run, and kind of just getting like what defense they run against that usually, so you know you can kind of plan where you're going with the ball.
I was going to say, Chris, do you need to be admin to do this? I could get you in as an admin pretty quick.
I think I'm sneaking up on this thing.
All right. It's interesting. You know, Christopher, do you know, are you Falcons fan?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you? I know you said you didn't get a chance to watch a lot of games during the week. Like, do you watch the games? Do you watch Penix? You know, I don't. You're probably you're not lefty, right?
No, I'm not a lefty, but yeah, I do watch the Falcons games. I try to watch them at least.
How do you watch the games as a fan, or do you watch the games as a quarterback looking for certain offenses, or do you say this is where they can exploit? I know Matthew kind of breaks those games down during the week and kind of, I think, sees, where teams can be exploited and stuff like that. Like, is that something that you do as a quarterback?
I mean, I'd say I kind of watch it more as a fan, but occasionally I'll kind of like see, maybe this could work against something, maybe, but I'm kind of more of a fan.
Okay.
Hey, Sean, so we got about 15 minutes, 17 minutes left with Chris.
Okay.
So if we could kind of run through. So I'm sharing the screen.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I see it. Actually, as admin, allow it. Okay.
There you go.
All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to run through what he and I are about to meet about. And then Chris, I may have to pull up the
okay,
because of the screen issue.
Okay.
So anyway, what we do is we have a 4-step process. It's called our GPS. All right. So, and that's technically what we're doing now is our GPS meeting, which is our game prep steps to understanding our opponent. So first thing he's done is he logs 2 games of raw data. Then he goes into step 2 and he categorizes it. And I'll show all this stuff to you in just one sec. Okay. And step 3, then he goes over defensive tendencies by percentage. And simply where I grew as a quarterback is when I started doing the game planning with the coach. So when I started going in there, there's nobody who knew the defense better than me. So step 4 is actually a play process of install, and I'll show you that. So anyway, we go through all this information. All right, so down and distance, 1st and 10, yard line they're on, the hash. What's the offensive formation in? And then what's the defense? What'd they do? They start and cover 4, roll 3, whatever. 4-3, and whatever the box is as well. So he does 2 of those games, and then he moves on to, okay, so by categorizing it by certain sections, like all the 1st and 10s, what were they in? All the 2nd and longs, 2nd and mediums, 2nd and shorts, 3rd and long, medium and shorts, right? And then so pretty much just through step 2, you already have an excellent feel over what you're going to be facing. And then you got to understand them formationally. So formationally, what are they going to do? If you're in your base offense, what's their typical defense, right? Twins, spread, whatever, trips. And then we move on to step 3. Step 3 is now percentages. On 1st and 10, what are their top 3 defenses and what's their expectation by percentage? And we go through all the downs and distances all through there. And then we get to formations. Is there a formation where we can get a high expectation of putting him in a certain look so that we want to run a certain play? And then we move on to by each individual's, position. Okay, this free safety, how does he do cover 2? What are his details? How does he bait? Right? Strong safety. And then the corner, is he a strong corner? Is it field corner? Or is he just simply a right and left corner? So we go through that. We understand our not just the defense by personality, what they like to do, but we sit there also understand it individually. And then we have coaches' notes. Man, when we're backed up, man, they'd love to be aggressive, right? Or when we crossed at 50, coach gets a little nervous and he sends heat off my backside. Whatever that is, that's where we put those notes in. And then we have a step 4 of what are coach's favorite plays this week? So it's this play, 1st and 10. And here's their 3 favorite defenses from the -1 to the -39. Here's their favorite 3 defenses. Well, who am I going to throw to? Who's my most likely target? Because there's certain defenses take away certain routes. And so who's my target? Well, I'm going to be throwing the 7 to the 6. And you circle which one's most favorable on 1st and 10. So anyway, so you wire your brain for success. So that is what we're going to be going through. And all we have to go through tonight is step 3 and really a little bit of step 4, and then see the film. And with this last 12 minutes, Chris, why don't you go ahead and start hitting step 3 with all your information. And then what I'll do is I'll start finding the library. I'll go into your huddle.
Okay. So they're heavy cover 3 team, like every down and distance, every formation was led by cover 3. So very heavy cover 3. And, occasionally they'll usually like to get down like in the red zone. They'll do like a man, like a cover 1 look almost. And then they kind of, what else they do is they'll do a 3 safety look, and then they'll kind of run Tampa 2 out of that. But it's mainly cover 3.
Right. And Tampa 2 shows up when?
3 safeties usually.
No, when does it show up?
Oh, it's more like 2nd and longs, and then
or 3rd and long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And obviously, when you get in red zone, get towards that goal line, that's when you're going to expect man.
Yeah.
A tougher box. We of course understand that.
I have a question. Tampa 2 came from the pros, right? What's the defensive coordinator for the Bucks? The genius guy. I can't think of his name now. That's where it came from, correct?
I think it's about 20 years old.
The guy that when they won the Super Bowl back 100 years ago, 20 years ago, the genius. I can't think of his name, man. It's go ahead. You keep talking. I just how my brain is.
Hey, Chris.
I did a Cambridge D versus formations because that was just a cut up of their plays versus our offensive formations that we run from a bunch of their games.
That's exactly
Monty Kiffin. It came from Monty Kiffin in Tampa Bay. And Tony Dungy.
All right, so 2x2 here. So this is an adjusted. It's like a Rob 3.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of.
Now, obviously, it doesn't have full form to it because of screen action.
Uh-huh.
But I'm more interested. I'd love to see some extension plays, and we'll be able to figure it out. And just real quick, the reason this guy has to play low anyway is because they don't have a lane player. There's no apex. There's no backer helping the lane. So this guy's got to cheat and rob no matter what.
Yeah.
Can I? This is high school, obviously. The people that are watching the NCAA tonight and the weekend and the pros, like the quarterbacks are doing this. This is all the quarterbacks do basically all week, right? Before the game when they're breaking down film, is same thing.
They don't do anything like this. Like Chris will tell you, he's never been asked to do his own scouting report.
Okay.
So you get handed a scouting report, and then you kind of compare the notes for on normal teams, and then what you do is you go and watch as much film as you can, right?
Yep. He's making his own. Christopher, you're making your own scouting report for this game.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Well, and that's got to help down. I'm sure it's got to help down the road. As a player, as a coach as well. 30 years from now, 20 years from now too. But yeah, is that something that's helped you, become a better player? Just working with Chris and making your own scouting report every week.
I think so. It's also kind of helped me learn how to watch film, because I'd always kind of try to watch, but I didn't really know exactly what I was looking for. And also the process of putting pen to paper helps you really internalize it and really helps me kind of learn it and know what they're going to do.
All right, so we've got something obvious happening here, right? This is whenever they have 3 down linemen, right? Mm-hmm. They can rush 4, right, and play any zone on top. So I would imagine something's coming. This guy's playing a little bit. He's not really apex, but he's out. And this guy's flat. This guy's getting replaced.
Uh-huh.
My expectation is he might be coming.
Yeah, I mean, they do run a lot of – yeah, he is coming, but they do also do a lot of rush 3, drop 8.
Okay. So, but you see the Rob there.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was a big time Rob. So this is, Rob 3. And the corners have decent back pedal and they're decent cushion. So just the deal is when they get their hips like that 10 to 12 yard break. So whether we're running dig, comeback, or curl or out, that should be a good throw because that's where both these guys rotated hips at about the 10-yard cushion break right there. You see what I'm saying? They're on the 20.
Is this scouting film from last year's game when you guys played them, or is this?
This is this season.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all relevant right as of right now.
Okay.
All right, so that's where you're going to get your gifts, and so long as your guys are good out of breaks, right? We run 9 routes until the break. It is a 9 route till the break, right? Because otherwise, these guys raise up, and let's see what this route he's running a post, but they'll sit there and raise up and show what they're doing. If you guys just stay 9 route till the break, these guys won't be able to react as well. But you're right. I mean, it's straight cover 3. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. Down and distance, 1st and 10. All right, 1st and 10. These guys are softening up, trying to give a hard look, but it looks like they're just going to flow back because the 2x2 spread. They should just go back on this. Rush 4. Yeah, it's a rush 4. This guy's the guy coming. This guy's just hang.
Is that number 11? It's kind of hard to see because he's usually the guy they bring. He's the tail player.
Number 10.
Oh, 10. Okay.
Yeah. But, okay, so let's look for animation, right? He's bouncing around, and the other guy looks very stilted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that might be a tell. All right, so let's compare that real quick. So he's sturdy. He doesn't want to drop in this. He's run defense heavy. Wait, I'm going to go back. I want to compare it to this. Now, this is different. His hands are on his knees and his chin is heavy. And he even looks like he has a slight lean to his left. Okay, you get what I'm talking about? So
yeah,
he looks like, hey, I'm trying to fake coverage, but I'm really going to be coming in.
Yeah.
And then this one, he looks like he might be coming, but really his left foot is very stapled.
Okay.
Okay, so he's not like on the ball on his feet, but he's up and more aggressive. He has a somewhat of an aggressive tone, so he's in run defense. Okay. All right, let's do a couple more. Now, quick question. Just, Christopher, if they are in man to this front side of the field, why would the corner be inside shade and why would the guy over slot be outside shade? If it is cover 1.
I don't know if I have that.
Okay. Where's the closest 12th man to the outside corner?
Oh, the sideline.
Sideline. So he plays him inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the closest 12th man to the slot?
The safety.
Safety. So he plays outside in.
Okay.
So here comes the adjustment. So you got Rob, and then you got cover 3.
Mm-hmm.
And here's your rush 3.
Yep.
But it's also 2nd and 14.
Yep.
So you're going to get a lighter rush, heavy coverage in 2nd and long. Let's try to stay out of 2nd longs. How about that?
Yeah, but that's kind of when we have a lot of like runs, and honestly, our coach told me if you see like that rush 3, just take off and.
Right. Well, here's the thing, man. So ultimately, what do we play for? What kind of third down?
3rd and short, just a manageable.
Healthy 3rd down, right? So what we do on 1st and 2nd down matters, right? So when to take shots, 2nd and short, 1st and 5, be in the middle of the field, right? That's the time to really stretch it. then when you sit there, that's why coach always runs the ball on 2nd and 9, and we all get pissed. But what running the ball gets you?
Like
It gets
3
you
yards,
4
4 yards.
Yeah. So he's actually hitting what he wants. He's just cutting it in half, as the old rule of thumb is, right? So anyway, that's your job. 99% of why you're going to be in great third downs is because what you're going to do, right? How I always got to ask this: how was scout defense this week? Were they accurate?
I'd say for the most part, they were pretty good at the like rolling and kind of giving some showing looks.
They were pretty good.
But I mean, they kind of did a lot more Tampa, especially on Tuesday, like more Tampa than expected from seeing the film. So I guess showing different looks. But
well, Tampa's not too tough. Are they robbing the middle guy, or they jetting the Mike linebacker?
I'd say probably robbing the middle guy more.
So it looks like almost like a double cloud 3, and all of a sudden the guy comes down.
Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. So anyway, the deal here is this: up to you to have manageable thirds. Okay. And if you do your job, and you always say, hey, what's the big deal? It's 1st and 10, 4 to 6 yards, throw short. 2nd and long. So we're not talking about like 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20, 4 to 6 yards. Right? 2nd and medium, 4 to 6 yards. 2nd and long, deep, right? 3rd and long, get the sticks. And then third and medium and short, 4 to 6 yards. This is not tough. Love your check downs. Healthy third downs. You're going to win this game. You will grind this one out. TOP, you'll win that. You'll win the first downs. You'll do all that. And you know the deal, man. As long as you guys had a good week of practice. You did?
Yep, we did.
Awesome. So with that, man, you guys should be good. So you know the deal. You got 100 reps. Wire the brain for, the freeway of information of decision making. I drop fast, I read fast, I throw fast. I drop fast, I read fast, I throw fast. 20 tonight before you hit the bed so you can dream about it. 20 in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, and you look yourself right in the mirror and tell yourself how you're going to do it. I drop fast, I read fast, I throw fast. And then when you get to lunch, find yourself some space somewhere, 20 there, and then 20 while you're getting your pads on, and 20 before you take the field. Okay?
Okay.
All right, brother. Have the best game, man.
Chris, I know you got to go. Christopher, if you want to stay and talk a little football, talk a little college football, you're more than welcome. If you have to go, don't worry about it. But,
yeah, man, I got a test tomorrow, so I'd like to get to that. But thank you so much.
Hey, Christopher, I'm an SAT tutor, right? I'm an SAT tutor. If you need help with SAT, let me know. Chris can back you up, but I do a bunch of SAT, so I appreciate you guys coming on. Christopher, listen, anytime you want to come on, please feel free. We do other shows, and Chris, obviously, anytime you want to come on, let me talk to me.
Shano, Matt, appreciate you boys.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Yep.
Go kick that ass tomorrow, Chris.
Yeah.
Good luck tomorrow. Avenge that 42-36 loss from last year.
I'll try my best.
All right. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. So that was Chris Hickson of QBIQ and Christopher Kuzniak of Westminster. They play forget who they play. I already just forgot. They played tomorrow night. They lost to them last year for Cambridge, 42-30. That's right. It's close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 42-36. Tomorrow night, 7:30. Cambridge last year came in. They're really highly ranked in Georgia. I know they were unbeaten until the end, and then I think they have one loss this year. So, obviously Georgia high school football is probably better than anything that's going on up here, other than North Jersey. So, just appreciate them coming on and kind of seeing what it's like to break down film before a game. We got this game kicking off at 9. Are you interested in any of the Thursday or Friday night games at all?
Let me take a look at the. I will say the Thursday night game. I do think tonight's game is interesting just for in terms of the pro game, just because it's a divisional matchup and like things have been close in that division, like especially between the 49ers and the Rams. Like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay
play a lot. They don't like each other. They play a lot. Yeah. San Francisco, Los Angeles, huge rivalry. Dodgers and Giants. I mean, there's been just go read the news about the attacks outside. I mean, there's 100 different things. It's some interesting games tomorrow night. I have to see Sam Houston's playing New Mexico State tonight. Sam Houston's 0-4, and that line is weird. It's Sam Houston's favored by 1.5. They're 0-4. Tomorrow's Western Kentucky at Delaware. As Delaware transitions to 1. Charlotte at South Florida. Big game for South Florida. Huge favorites. They are. What's that?
So they should take care of business.
Yeah, they're playing well. Look, I mean, South Florida's, they're going to be ranked at some point. BYU's New Mexico at San Jose State. West Virginia at BYU. West Virginia stinks this year.
Yeah, I mean they got up for the backyard brawl in Pitt, and they were able to knock them off. But since then, I know their starting quarterback Nico Maricol is now out for the season with injury. He's said he was going to take a redshirt year for this year, and apparently enter the transfer portal. And a couple interesting situations like that popped up. The Mekhi Hughes up at Oregon is another one that is also – that one's a little more interesting because I don't think it's injury related for Mekhi Hughes. I think it's more playing time related that he wants his red shirt. No, but BYU, all intents and purposes, should take care of business, tomorrow night. I like the line. The line's 20. West Virginia is really bad. They're going on the road. This one screams BYU, and number 47, Bear Bachmeier, is their quarterback.
Okay. Which game intrigues me a little bit tomorrow night? Because the over-under is 38.5. Is that Colorado State San Diego State game? San Diego State's 3-1. Colorado State's 1-3. San Diego State has, they lost to in their loss, they lost to Washington State. And their 3 wins, they've allowed 3 total points. They beat Northern Illinois last week 6-3. They play really good defense. Last week Colorado State scored. There's a little bit of a comparison. They both played Washington State and lost. Colorado State only scored 3 points against Washington State. They lost to UTSA 17-16. They only scored 21 in their win over Northern Colorado. I think, looking at 38.5, I mean, everyone's just thinking, San Diego State's got a pretty good defense. They're probably going to shut down Colorado State. For the teams in this league, Air Force already has 3 games for some reason in the conference. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that haven't played a game in the conference yet, which Air Force is 0-3 in the conference and haven't, these other teams haven't even played yet. Fresno State's 1-0, Boise State's 1-0, Utah State's 1-0, Hawaii's 1-1. This is the first game for San Diego State, who probably, with this defense, thinks that they might be able to challenge for the league. So I think that's a pretty interesting game. And obviously, we said, a New Mexico plays San Jose State. So it's a big night for Mountain West out there. But, it's a late game.
I think
30.
I see the number is 6.5 for San Diego State. I feel like that's generous. Giving them less than a touchdown feels very generous, just because Colorado State hasn't been a very good football team all year. Like, they just haven't.
I just don't see how they're going to be able to score enough points against –
they won't be. This total has got to be completely based on whatever San Diego State does. 6.5 feels like a ridiculous number. I might go out and take San Diego State minus 6.5 after I get done with this. Like that.
This has 24-3, 27-3 written all over it. Like, I think the under. Colorado State's not going to score a lot of points, and San Diego State is clearly the better team. That it's got a low scoring blowout. Written all over this. That's what I kind of take from that game.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, the one that sticks out most to me as like an outlier, like if it happened again, you don't get the same result most likely. That game against Cal is like you go look at what Cal's done for the rest of the season. You're like, where did that come from? Cal waxed Washington State. They beat Boston College last weekend. Like their lone slip up, They beat Minnesota at home. You know, it was Oregon State, not Washington State, that they beat really bad to start the year.
Yes.
So like Cal's offense has been moving, and they have, like I've said it feels like 1,000 times at this point. The Cal's quarterback, Jaron Kiawe Sagapolote, something like that.
Cal was a 13.5-point favorite in that game and lost 34-0 to San Diego State.
Yep, exactly. Like this San Diego State defense, just looking at the numbers, they are legit. Like when you give up, I know they gave up 36 to Washington State, and that's fine. But you get Cal at home and you give them nothing. Like I don't care where you got them. The fact that you gave Cal nothing, it speaks to just how good your defensive unit is. And I don't see how
defensive touchdowns in the third quarter. They had a 35-yard fumble return and a 97-yard interception return. As you know, it was 20-0, and Cal's trying to get back in the game. And Chris Johnson had a 97-yard interception return. Their defense is really good. Once again, sometimes, I'll say this: when there's so many games on the board on Saturday. And, this is, I know we just had, high school and breaking down stuff like that and college and pro. There's so many games on the board on Saturday that sometimes, games kind of get, fall through the cracks or whatever. But when you look at the games and you look at Friday night's games and you're like, wait a second, like, wow, like that game sticks out like the lights are flashing for me. And sometimes you can see through that. I think that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, that feels like they say Vegas isn't in the business of losing money, and I think that's true. But I don't know. There is times where Vegas just does not adjust to teams, and I don't know if it's just like week 6 you would have figured that the models have a very good read on stuff like this. So in all honesty, I don't think it's probably going to be as easy as I think it's going to be for San Diego State. But that the defense and the numbers that they've put up so far, like prove like when you're not giving up anything to anybody, especially the caliber of opponents that you've faced for the most part. I feel really good about you getting a home game on a little bit of a shorter week against who has been a very bad Colorado State football team. I don't know. I remember Colorado State was in a shootout with some. Let's see here. It was Northern Colorado. They won 21-17 against Northern Colorado.
Yes.
So,
to me, I don't know about the other games on the board. I'm sure. We'll talk about Penn State minus 25.5. They're going to probably roll UCLA because that UCLA doesn't have a number from 1 to 10 next to their record, so they're not ranked in the top 10. So James Franklin will probably win that game. They don't
have a head coach. They don't have an offensive coordinator. They don't.
They
fired their head coach. They fired Tino Sinceri, who was, I think he was the offensive coordinator. He may have just been.
They brought that quarterback in who was, wanted to, that it was an issue to begin with.
That is a case of a kid getting a lot of bad info from people around him.
Yep.
A lot of bad info. I don't know who told him what dollar amount he was worth. They were wrong. And they were blaming Tennessee and the receivers. They were wrong there too. Worst career and business decision that's been made in a very long time. You can look back and say well, Tate Martell ran his mouth and didn't sit behind Justin Fields. Yeah, but Tate Martell was going to come out in the wash eventually. You were going to find out who he was eventually. Mm-hmm. That one, Nico had the ability to develop, and instead of sticking around and getting that ability to develop, he just said, screw it. I think I'm better than this, or at least the people around him told him that he was, and got on the first bus out to Cali. Boy, was that a mistake.
Does Vanderbilt have a chance against Alabama this week?
Yes. I think what people came away with, they're here we go, Alabama's back, stuff like that from that Georgia game. To a degree, yes. They executed their game plan to a T in the first half of that game against Georgia. But you look back through that game, and they got pushed around on that offensive line. Their defense still showed cracks. Georgia wasn't able to convert on those cracks. They didn't take advantage when they should have. But they still showed the cracks. And I've struggled back and forth because Diego Pavia has
good. He's good. He's been very good.
It's hard to run your mouth and back it up the way he has. Like it's been the perfect marriage of the two. Like for as much as he's talked, he showed up every Saturday and backed up every word that he said. So I have no belief that he won't show up. I know that they aren't going to sneak up on Alabama like they did last year, but they have a very realistic shot for this game. Like the line is at 10.5. That feels like it may be a little bit generous toward
A
Alabama.
little high, right?
Yeah.
I think Vanderbilt's probably using that to their advantage here going in. Georgia's at Kentucky, basically the first game on the board here.
Kentucky's coming to Georgia. We'll
Just,
switch there.
yeah, sorry, Kentucky at Georgia. First game on the board. Does Georgia have any trouble in that game?
I don't think they have any trouble. I'm not sure if they cover because that number's 20.5. It's a pretty big number. I know Kentucky's not very good, but again, it's not exactly Kirby Smart's specialty to, really get in there and run up the score. When he gets comfortable with things, he likes to kind of bleed the clock and play things conservatively. Now, over time that can build up the score, but he's not out there chasing a number.
We talk a lot about the most competitive league in college football, and that is the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game on the board is Iowa State, who's ranked 14th, 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12, going to Cincinnati, who's 3-1 and 1-0 in the Big 12. And Cincinnati's favored in this game very slightly after its win over Kansas last week, 37-34. Lost opening day to Nebraska. That's their only loss. Iowa State on that. That was that weird night game. Iowa State beat Arizona last week, beat Arizona State the week before. We talked a lot about that. They beat Iowa. This is a pretty big game, I guess, for the Big 12, right?
For Iowa State, it is. For Cincinnati, it still is. I'm not sure if Cincinnati has the football team to be able to go.
It's interesting they're favored here. I know they're at home, but
Yeah, Iowa State's had some problems on offense. Like their offensive unit still hasn't looked fantastic throughout the year. I know they're 5-0 and they played pretty well, but they still haven't just been beating people. I think they'll win this game, but there's also I can't tell you how many times there's been games where I've looked at and gone why is this team favored? I just don't get it. And then you watch the game unfold and they end up losing. And I go, what was I thinking? My eyes told me that the other team was at least a field goal better than this team, but didn't matter. I think Iowa State should win that football game. I think they're the more complete football team. I think they're a better coached football team, not to discredit Scott Satterfield, but Scott Satterfield and Cincinnati were down pretty big Kansas, if I remember correctly, last week before they came back.
Yeah, they were down it was 20-13, and then
they were not.
Kansas took the lead. It was 27-27.
That's what I think. I don't think I had it mixed up. They were down.
Kansas took the lead with 1 minute and 45 seconds to go, and Cincinnati went right down the field in a minute and scored. I mean, 10 plays, 75 yards, and a minute and 16 to win the game. I mean, that's unbelievable drive to win that. So I guess they got a little momentum. But Iowa State I think is pretty interesting.
I mean, it looks like Cincinnati can score. You look at their game history. Now, granted, one of them was against Northwestern State, and they scored 70, so that can skew your data a little bit. But since that Nebraska game, their offense has found a rhythm. I don't think they're going to make it up to the same number. I don't think they're going to be hanging around in the 30s of this game. I think this game will probably hang somewhere in the mid to low 20s for both teams, if I had to guess.
Texas and Florida. Florida's 1-3, and that line's dropped from 6.5 to 4.5 with Texas favored. People I guess betting the Gators here in the swamp. It's a weird line, isn't it?
I don't think so. I told myself earlier in the year, I think it was really after they lost to Florida or after they lost to LSU, my bad, that I was going to stop stop the drug that is the Florida Gators. Because I was like coming into the season, I thought they were a really good football team. I thought all things were going to click. I thought they had the right pieces. And some of that, they do have the right pieces. Right now, DJ Lagway's lacking a little confidence. But a home game like this and their defense, like Florida's defense is still really good. They've got some injuries on that side of the ball, but they're still a really good unit overall. And, like, Arch did not fare well in the horseshoe. And I know he got to flex on a UTSA defender. I'm still not buying it. Like, I'm not buying Arch being comfortable and like feeling himself, because quite frankly, I think if they got the version of Arch that they were expecting this year, I think it still would be a really good football game. But I think if they get the version of Arch that they've gotten for the majority of this year against almost everybody with the exception of UTSA, then they're not only are they in trouble, I think they're going to lose this game. Like, I'm picking Florida to win this football game.
Wow. It's interesting. You know, I've looked at multiple mock drafts here, and some have Manning sliding out of the first round. You know, the one in the Athletic had him 28 to the Colts.
Why would you pick him? Like, what has he shown you this year? And like this is your job. You have to go win us football games. What has he shown you? Right now, he's not showing me a whole lot.
Yeah, right now, I mean, the kid from Indiana has been unbelievable. Mendoza, they have him as like number 2 pick, and really high. Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, they have him in the top 10. You know, these.
Beck will probably be
once
fairly
again,
high.
Drew Aller, like I can't, you know, like every time they lose the game, it ends in a pick, and I know some of it's not, you know, him. People have Dante Moore from Oregon and stuff like this, but John
Moore's really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, these coming into the season, the best thing that this college football playoff has ever done is wait until whatever week whatever, 7 or 8 before they do it. You can't rank teams. Like, how the hell are you going to rank a team after one game? Like, before one game, you don't know if they're going to be any good or not. Like, I know you have kind of an idea. You could take a guess, but like, you know, why don't you just wait? Like, say college basketball, just wait, man. Just wait to see what happens. Wait to see what happens. Before, you know, they go to the, you know, to Maui and these, you know, in Thanksgiving. Wait to see what happens. College football, the best thing they did was just wait to see what happens before they start ranking these teams, because injuries, teams might not be as good. Teams that you thought might not be good are good. Like, they brought good players in the thing. Especially now when there's all these, you know, people moving around, and you just don't know. Kids could click with a new coaching staff. It's crazy to me.
That's my biggest gripe with the AP poll, is that they create a poll based on their thoughts and feelings in the preseason, and then they refuse to adjust based on their belief and their thoughts and their feelings. Like,
if you are a team that is ranked, whatever, you know, and say you lose early, or even you lose twice, whatever, you still have a chance to get back. Like the AP, if you're highly ranked, there's a bias. You know, when you lose, you're only going to drop this much. Whereas, you know, Florida State, you know, they get up to thing and then lose and they're down to 18, which we'll get to that.
We just forget that game.
They're not as good, but like they're a year, you know, whatever. Maybe they're a year away. Who knows? But like, you know, they overreact to stuff, and you know, just wait until these games are played. You know, that's the best thing I think. You know, they do.
It's purely a baseless ranking for probably 3-4 weeks until you're really able to get a decent sample size. And until you get that decent sample size, don't rank them off your feelings. Rank them off what has happened. Like, there was no reason that an 0-2 Notre Dame team should have been ranked. I get that they lost by a very small amount to 2 very good schools, but they haven't won a football game. Like, what are we doing? Like, we think they're going to win football games. They could have gone down to Arkansas and gotten like hammered for all we know, because Arkansas's offense was halfway decent, but they didn't. And credit to them. Like, now they deserve a ranking. Prior to that, they didn't deserve a ranking. What did they do? They did nothing.
Yeah, no, it drives me nuts.
So
some of the later games tomorrow, Texas Tech at Houston. That's at 7 on ESPN. Obviously, the big one is Florida State Miami, with a little bit taken off that because Florida State lost last week. It's at Florida State. Still a big game.
I was very
Bigger
upset.
game from Miami, I guess, right?
Yeah, I was very upset with game day. They changed their destination. They'd initially planned to go to Florida State.
Where are they at now?
Kirk Herbstreit said as much. They're going to Alabama and Vanderbilt. Yeah, you passed up a game between who are probably two of the best, if not the two best teams in the ACC. Pivotal ACC title implications. Bama Vandy, why not? We're not going to have a chance to see either of those teams again down the line. I'll give you a hint. They do. They have plenty of opportunity to see both teams.
Well, every SEC team plays a ranked team every week. Like, this is the biggest game in the ACC. Like, you're right.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
It makes no sense. Like I would not give any Florida State fans like any of this credit. But if there was ever going to be something to give validity to like Kirk Herbstreit not really wanting to face the music, that would be it. Just
Alabama plays Missouri next week. Why not go there? Like, Missouri's ranked. Like, that would be cool.
Bama plays LSU. Like, they both of those football teams play LSU and Missouri, two very highly ranked football teams.
Indiana plays Indiana plays Oregon. Next week they'll probably, I don't know, maybe they'll be there.
Yeah, there's
I don't know. You could have been, yeah, exactly. Like, I just,
if you really want to get to Tuscaloosa, I promise you there are going to be other opportunities to get to Tuscaloosa. The same if if you're going to do a Vanderbilt game, do it at Vanderbilt. Like this, the attraction and the allure of this team deserves their own game day appearance. Yep. Like that's what they're going for. They're going for the Vanderbilt story. Like that's your draw. Your draw is the fact that Bama just beat Georgia and Vanderbilt is 5-0 and they have an offense and they look like an actually really good football team. And if they are a really good football team, then guess what? You've got the opportunity a couple weeks down the line where you give them the shine that they deserve on their campus. But you didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Let's change our focus here to the pros while we can before this game starts. We talked a little bit about this game tonight. Rams are big favorites because San Francisco got a lot of guys injured, but it is a big game. I mean, Thursday night's been pretty good. The primetime games been pretty good this year. Other than the Monday night game last week with the 2 and the Broncos Bengals game was terrible. But I think we talked about it. The Rams are probably gonna win the game, maybe not by 8.5.
I would be wary taking the point total for the Rams. Like, I would not take them minus 6.5 because it feels like one of those games when you look at the injury chart and you see the matchup, you're like, how? Like how are they going to stay in this football game? But it's the NFL and the talent gap is so narrow that they can stay in this football game.
Yeah, it's Thursday night. San Francisco's going to have a lot of fans there. It's not, the Rams don't, it's not really like
it's 8.5 now.
It's a lot. It's a lot of points.
I don't know who bet that up. I don't know where that, because I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it started the week at 3.5. It's up to 8.5 now. That I would take San Fran plus
that. There's a London game. Minnesota stayed over there. 3.5 point favorites against Cleveland, who's got a really good defense, but the offense just isn't that good. The over/under is 36.5. That should tell you all you need to know about defense. Are you interested in that game at all, or not really?
No, I talked about this with Jim. I think we both agreed. If you're gonna do this international outreach stuff that the NFL's been doing, and you're going to take these teams across the pond. And I get it. Like you want to save your big ticket games and your big ticket items for primetime slots. If you want the eyeballs on these games, then make it matter. Like give me something better than the Vikings and the Browns. And I know that they determine this preseason. Like you can't really officially know what a football team's going to be. But I don't think anybody was picking the Vikings and the Browns to go to the Super Bowl. The same way I don't think anybody was picking the Vikings and the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl preseason. Like people may have felt good about them. Like give us a better game. If you're going to ask me to get up and watch this game at 9:30 in the morning, give me a product worth watching. And don't have a game with a total at 36.5.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, I don't know what the weather's going to be. There's like a super hurricane going there because those two hurricanes have like merged together, and it's like a super hurricane. So I don't, that could affect it. The weather could be pretty bad there, but
London's always pretty rainy though, isn't it?
Yes, it's England. It rains all the time,
Mm-hmm.
like all the time. I'm just trying to do my pool here. Jacksonville, Kansas City on Monday night. We'll get to that, but the 1:00 games: Indianapolis and at home against Vegas, New Orleans at home against the Giants, the Jets host Dallas, Eagles host Denver, Carolina hosts Miami, Baltimore hosts Houston. And there's not a lot of good games this week. I know Denver, Mark Eckel wrote about the Denver game. The Giants and New Orleans, I guess the Giants, but I don't even know where you go with that, right?
New Orleans is favored right now. I think the one that's most intriguing to me is the Texans Ravens. Because that feels like it's kind of like a tipping point game for both teams. Like you lose that football game and your season really feels like it's off the deep end now. Like especially for the Ravens. I think for the
Ravens are in a lot of trouble right now because how long is Jackson out?
I don't know. He's doubtful. So he's doubtful to play. But like the injury's not going to be as bad as they think it is. So I think you stomach this one more if you're the Ravens, knowing that your starting quarterback's probably not going to play and you're missing some key guys on defense. Like Baltimore sack leaders on the IR. Their tackle leader, Roquan Smith, is doubtful for this game as well. So I think you kind of obviously you want to win. Like you feel like you should win when you're this close of a favorite as the home team. But, if you don't win, it's not the end of the world because, hey, we're going to get these guys back eventually. But like the Houston Texans kind of need this to salvage their season. So it's an important game for both sides, but every game's important for both of these teams from here on out because of how far behind the eight ball they've put themselves with how they've started this season.
Yeah, I find that game, I think same thing. Like I know Mark had talked about that in the preview. I was going to go to the Dallas or Denver and Eagles game, but just I don't know. I don't have a lot of interest in it anymore. To me, the later games, the Buffalo New England game, I don't know. I mean, Buffalo's 7.5-point favorite. I can't imagine that's going to be, I don't know. Maybe New England scores some points. The Detroit Cincinnati game, that was probably going to be a good game before the season. Cincinnati stinks now. They scored 3 points against Denver. They're without ice cold Joe, or whatever the hell they call him. They're done. Their season's over. But Tampa and Seattle,
they can't figure out ways to get T. Higgins the ball, which is fascinating to me. Or not T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Jeez, they can't find a way to get either of them the football because they can't throw the football. But it's fascinating to me how they haven't found stuff in that more shorter to medium range to get those guys touches.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, you could probably just go pick up a quarterback off the heap and be able to get those guys the ball and make plays. But, I'm stunned they didn't go try to get Jameis Winston yet, or just somebody that can get the ball down the field. I mean, Winston will throw a lot of picks, but he'll get the ball down the field. He'll throw a lot of touchdowns. He'll throw some picks, but they're not doing anything with Browning and that division. Look, the Ravens are a mess. Pittsburgh's, just I don't know, they're just okay. I don't know. I thought, they would try to maybe do something in that division. Pittsburgh's 3-1 right now. They're not that good. The Bengals are 2-2, and the Browns aren't doing anything. The Ravens are a disaster. If they, their defense stinks, and if they don't have a quarterback, they're not winning any games. But Cincinnati, if they had a serviceable quarterback, they could win some games in that division and in the AFC. I mean, the South is. Look, I know the Colts and Jaguars are both 3-1, but I still don't know how good they are. So to me, I don't know why they're not going out and trying to get a quarterback right now, and instead of trying, it's crazy to me. I don't know.
I will say, just on the injury front, is I do think it's interesting when they brought up the story. I think it was a week or two ago, how Shadur Sanders told the Baltimore Ravens not to draft him. And he's sitting behind Dylan Gabriel, who's about to get the start. And anything can happen. If Gabriel plays bad, then Shadur's probably going to get his chance. He'd be getting his chance right now. If he had told them, if he hadn't told him not to draft him with Lamar out, he'd be getting his chance. And what I will say is I think just in a general term, just go where you're wanted and perform. Because if he had this chance and he took it, and Lamar comes back and they bench him, obviously that would probably be the case. But then you've got a team like Cincinnati. If they saw him play well, they'll probably get on the line and be like, hey, we want this guy to come fill in, fix our offense for the remainder of the year. It feels like there's so many domino effects it could have caused, but what do I know?
The two other late games, the Tampa at Seattle, both 3-1, and Washington at Los Angeles. Los Angeles knocked me out of my knockout pool last week. You never take those teams on the road coming east, but I don't know. I didn't think that guy was going to start. It is what it is. But both those games I think are really interesting. Tight line. Seattle's -3.5. Chargers -2.5. Those are probably the two. Because Arizona plays Tennessee. Once again, I don't trust Arizona. Until they figure out what they're like. They're going to be 9-8. I don't know, maybe 10-7, and maybe make the playoffs, maybe not. But they should be better. But Tampa and Seattle's a big game, right?
Yeah, just in terms of the Cardinals, really quick, I do think they made a step in the right direction last week when they were able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going.
Yes,
get him some of that confidence back on Thursday night. I think that was good. And if that's able to be carried over, against a team that you should beat in the Titans, you need to get him touches and keep his confidence high, because when he gets going, that offense is going to be a different unit. Because right now it feels like they're a one-weapon offense with Trey McBride. And they've had both of their top two running backs go out to injury. So they're thinner there. I know they called Michael Carter up from the practice squad. So their backfield is going to be Amari DeMarcado and Michael Carter. They'll probably split some carries. And then in terms of Bucs Seahawks, yeah, it's a big game. The Bucs turned it on in the second half, which I thought was good, but you could feel the loss of Mike Evans in that first half. They really didn't know what to do on offense, it felt like. I know Bucky Irving is questionable. Baker Mayfield is also questionable. Just kind of looking at stuff now. Obviously, Mike Evans is out. But they've got a really good pass defense, does Seattle. So they're going to test you. This is a game where if you need to have him, Bucky Irving needs to be able to play, because you've got to be able to run the football. If you're one dimensional in terms of needing to throw the football against Seattle, then they're done. They're toast. The game's over.
I think for Seattle, they have, they're at the Jaguars next week. The Texans at Commanders, Cardinals, Rams, Titans. This is a big game for Seattle. I think you could just start to build some momentum if you get this win. Jaguars, once again, that's a big game for both teams. But you got the Texans and Commanders, Cardinals, all this. But you get to 4-1. in that division, I think it's big. Sam Darnold, they're a tough team to play. You don't want to. You definitely don't want to go there in the playoffs and play in Seattle. I mean, it's a tough place to play in the playoffs. It's really, really loud. It's cold. It's wet. But this is a big game for Tampa's going to win that division because the rest of the teams stink. So I guess maybe Atlanta's getting better finally, but who knows?
Maybe they played well against a really bad pass defense. Like let's throw that little asterisk on there.
Yes, they're in the bye. Chicago's on the bye. Green Bay's on the bye. Pittsburgh's on the bye. The Monday night game, Kansas City's favored by 3.5. Kansas City's on in prime time every week. Kansas City
Why
at
Jacksonville.
It's a massive game for Jacksonville. Jacksonville could throw a marker down here, especially in that division. And Colts are playing at home against Vegas. I don't know. I mean, the matchup predictor gives Jacksonville like a 37.8% chance to win the game, but I don't know. I mean, I use the eye test. I know that the Chiefs were they played really well last week against the Ravens defense, who isn't great. But I don't know. I think Jacksonville's got a decent chance to win this game.
They do. I think Jacksonville's biggest thing is like I'm just looking at it here. Trevor Lawrence has turned the football over a lot this year, and Kansas City for all of their offensive woes this season, their defense has been really good and really opportunistic. Like you saw that they shut down Lamar Jackson last Sunday.
Starting to get hot too.
Yeah. Like you can tell. And I said, I told Jim, I said when he gets those weapons back, Rashee Rice back, and now Xavier Worthy's back, but he's starting to build some trust with Dante Thornton Jr. too. So Tyquan Thornton, not Dante Thornton, he's on the Raiders. So he's starting to build some chemistry with some of the weapons he has. That it still doesn't change the fact they're going to need a run game. Like they still don't have a great run game. That's going to have to change. But as Patrick Mahomes gets weapons back, I know that Andy Reid knows how to call an offense tailored to Patrick and the pieces that they have around him. And once they get some of that aspect of speed back, because speed feels like the defining aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
That's the one thing that Jacksonville has with Etienne back there running. You saw a couple of those runs last week where it was just gone. I mean, that's the one thing they can do, I think, that you're talking.
Yeah, and like they need to. Their top receiver right now is their tight end and Brenton Strange. Brian Thomas Jr. has been non-existent this year, and it's not necessarily for lack of getting the ball. Like he has as many catches as he does drops right now. So part of it is just him not catching the football when it's thrown his way. So he's got to be better in that aspect. And like if they do get the offensive weapons right, like if Brian Thomas plays the way he should, Brenton Strange is still a really good tight end, and they can run the football. I know that Trayvon Walker is questionable. He had a wrist surgery, so that would be a big piece on that Jacksonville defense in terms of creating pressure on Patrick Mahomes. But I guess I don't really fully understand why the Chiefs are favored.
I don't understand why they're favored by 3.5 in Jacksonville. Like it seems like a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah, the getting over a field goal does feel like a lot.
And you see these games. I mean, these lines. I mean, the favorites haven't been. I don't know. I think it was like a bloodbath the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last only one game on Monday night for a couple of weeks, because you got the Monday night games have been, once again, that game last week wasn't great. The second game, the first game I thought was pretty interesting. Next week, you got Buffalo at Atlanta at 7:15 and Chicago at Washington at 8:15, which, seems like two pretty interesting games. And then the following week, Tampa's at Detroit and the 7:00 game. And then they go back. Houston's at Seattle in a big game in the 10:00 game. So they go back to 7 and 10. So the Monday night games, I mean, just for me, for the last couple of years, I think Monday night games haven't been great, but this year I think they've kind of knocked it out of the park with them, with all the primetime games.
Yeah, Monday night got a better draw this year. Like with the exception of what we had to witness this past Monday, they've gotten the better draw.
Yep, I agree. What's your favorite game of the weekend for college and then for pros? What's your
Favorite game?
best bets or anything like that?
Not really any best bets. I haven't gone through and looked at anything betting wise really much this week. I still think that game in Tallahassee is going to be the best game of the weekend. Like it should be. I Vanderbilt. I think Florida. Like I said, I think Florida pulls off the upset. Like I'm not in any way, shape, or form advising people to put money on that. That's more of a gut feeling and an expectation of how Texas will show up and a really what should be a really good crowd. Like if it's the crowd that I expect out of Gainesville, Florida, then it should be a very tough environment to play in.
And I'm on that San Diego State game tomorrow night. San Diego State now on my app is -6.5, and the over under is 40.5. That's I am definitely on those. Once again, that seems like a 27-3 game. I mean, of the two, I would probably say San Diego State with the spread is probably a little better, but that would be mine. And then with the NFL games, man, I don't know. These NFL has been a lot tougher this year than it has been. Houston probably needs to win. I would say Arizona maybe down to 6, something like that. Detroit's probably going to roll in Cincinnati. But depending, I mean, we'll see if they can get in the ball. But I think that would be my kind of my plays there. So, all right. So we're getting ready for kickoff here. Once again, I got to thank Chris and Christopher for coming on, and that's he was kind of talking. I know Chris was talking about he does this every Thursday night. They go through a half-hour things with all his quarterbacks he got, and he has quarterbacks in Hawaii and all over the place. So thanks to them for taking their time to come on and kind of show what they do. If you have any kind of if you ever want to get in touch with Chris, I'll get you in touch with him. So if you're watching and saying, hey, listen, that guy, that seems like a good thing. All right, well, get in touch with me, and I'll get in touch with him, and we'll you'll be on tomorrow, correct? At 12.
Yes, yeah, I will be.
What will you guys be going over tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're probably going to go over the current game that I'm watching right now, Boston,
baseball?
New York, yeah, and probably some of what happened in the wild card.
How about the Padres? Padres are out.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, like the Cubs stopped that offense. They didn't hit. Like that's
the Padres. You mean?
Yeah, the Padres got shut down.
I'll tell you what. Right now, I know the Phillies and Dodgers are the Phillies and Dodgers series. The Phillies are playing at 6, depending on who wins the Yankees and Red Sox games. It's either 6:00 or 6:30. But Cubs Brewers is going to be a war. I think a lot of people thought the Padres were going to come out of that series and maybe make a run. People think the Brewers are a little susceptible, but Dodgers Phillies is going to be a war. Those for me, the winner of that series probably goes through and goes to the World Series. The Tigers. Wow, I mean, what can you say? The Tigers, Screwball's a monster. They play the Mariners. People think the Mariners are probably the favorites there. And then
I think the Tigers have a really tough road ahead of them. Like they don't have really good starting pitching depth.
Screwball can't pitch. Screwball can't pitch 4 games in the series.
Yeah.
Maybe the way it lines up, he gets 3, but I doubt it. You got to think longer term. And the Blue Jays are going to play the Red Sox, the Yankees. Two of these series, and they're going to be division series. Phillies and Dodgers have been the 2 best teams in the National League for a long time. And then the Tigers and Mariners. One of those 2 teams is going to be in an AL Championship Series. So you guys talk about that tomorrow and probably go through because there's 4 games on Saturday. Saturday is going to be a crazy day of football, baseball, soccer. I think there's UFC on Saturday. There's probably boxing. San Francisco almost fumbled the opening kickoff, by the way. So we're live there on the NFL. So we'll let you get out of here. Thanks again, Matthew. Thanks to Chris and Christopher, and we will see you again next week. So I want